webinar about supersizing e-commerce. This is the same talk that I gave at the Dynamicweb Tech Conference 2014. We'll be going through a lot of the improvements that we've added to Dynamicweb 8.4 in order to help you support large-scale e-commerce solutions. My name is Jeppe, and I'm a senior developer at Dynamicweb, and I've been working with e-commerce in some form or another for more than 5 years now. And today we will be going through the price matrix. That is the new version of the price matrix introduced in 8.3.1. We will be going through multi-shop, some of the functionalities that we've added to support shops in different languages and different shops in the same e-commerce solution. We will also be going through the back catalog, and towards the end of the talk we'll just touch upon performance and talk about what we've done there. All right, so let's go back into the demo. So what I have here is an e-commerce solution which for all intents and purposes is a large-scale dynamic web solution in dynamic web standards anyway. I have 3 shops with 3 languages, and for one of those shops there are 50,000 products. The other 2 languages each have 6,000 products, and each of those have 125 variants. That gives me almost 1.6 million product records in my database. So like I said, this is, at least in dynamic web context, a large-scale solution. Now, let's assume that you have these large-scale solutions out there, and you want to support your customers. So maybe you want to have different prices, maybe you want to have different stock locations. That is another feature that I'll not be going into today, but it's something that we've added. Maybe you want to support multiple different cards. These are some of the features that we'll be going through today. So let's start off with just a look at the back end. So this is a shop, the shop 1, and I have one group that has 50,000 products. And as you saw, it was pretty snappy. So it is possible to work with these large-scale solutions in the back end without having to have too much waiting time. So if I wanted to change the pricing for this specific product, I can do that. Everything is usually the way you'd see it. This is what you usually see when you go to edit your products. But if I click prices, you'll see that I have these 4 price rows, and let me just go through them really quick. Just click on the first one. So this one tells me that the price will be 100 of this currency when I'm shopping in this currency for all the products when I am this user. This is the only thing that I've set up, but I have a lot of options like user group, customer number, and a valid to from time period. I can also do units and specific languages and countries, and I can even say shop. And if I wanted to do bulk pricing, I could do that as well. I can say that this number of products in the cart is needed in order to achieve this specific price. So I have, like I said, these 4 where the user George, he gets the price of 100 when he's shopping in the DKK currency. Ringo, he gets 75 because he is a better customer to me. But I can also say that the user group customers with special price, this is basically just a group that I've selected. I have this pre-made. I have George and I have John and Paul in there, and they get 50 when they're shopping on my site. And everyone else who buys more than 100 of my specific product here, they get this price. So that's what is possible with the new price matrix. So it's a lot more powerful than it used to be. It gives you a lot more options of saying this specific user group can get this price, or I can say even for a specific shop or in a specific language that the prices are different. I can say if it's a different currency, it can also be different. You might want to do that. And This works on the elimination principle. So if a set of conditions, if these set of conditions are not met, then it will try the rest of them. If none of these conditions are met, then basically we fall back to the default price. In this case, you probably prefer that, but let's just add a few zeros to this. So now it would be a good thing to be a one of those in my price matrix. All right. So another thing that you might notice is that now that I have these multiple shops, I might not have the same products available in the same languages. So all my products in my shop 1, I have them available in this language, but I also have 2 other languages. And my other shop down here, it actually does not have the products in this, but it does when I switch over. One thing that used to be the case was that you used to have the product be available in your default language. So your site had a default language, and all products needed to be present in that default language. And from there on, you could then separate them into different languages. This is another thing that we've changed. So this is no longer a requirement. These products actually do not exist in my default language, but they're still available for me to edit in the backend. So this gives me the option of separating my products into shops and languages without them having to have a specific common super language that they all need to be part of. This should solve some issues for a lot. This is definitely one of the feature requests that we've heard a lot. So with the option of having products in different languages and different shops, it should also be possible to select which products that I want to have in my product catalog, and to that end we've made some changes as well. In this case, you'll see that I have the display box appears a bit different from what it used to be. I now have the option of saying all top groups in a given shop. So let's say I wanted to present my shop 1 to the customer in this case. I could select all the top groups in this shop, or I could select another one if that was the case. And I can say include all the subgroups if I wanted this to be a complete inventory catalog of my shop 1. I still have the option of selecting specific groups. This is what it used to look like, but still with the addition of including subgroups, and I can uncheck this if I don't want to. But I can add all the shops that I want, or I can say this is a general product catalog, and I can say all the top groups in a specific shop. So now that we have the option of changing prices for our customers, and we have products in different shops, and we have the option of making our product catalogs more distinct. We would probably also want an option of shopping in different contexts. So let's say I have multiple shops, and my customers, they should be able to buy from 2 different shops at the same time without the products from their carts being mixed, and without them having to abandon one cart in order to pick up another. To that end, we've created a new feature called Order Contexts. That context is available in the e-commerce management center under Orders. We have this Order Contexts node right here. Here I can specify as many order contexts as I want. This gives me the option of saying this specific context is related to this shop. So the context will only allow products from this shop, and I could check as many as I want, or I can check as few as I want. You would always have to have one, but you could basically just select as many shops as you want. You can also, on the shop, select a relation the other way around. So let's say I have multiple contexts that refer to the same shop. It is possible. Then I can say for the specific shop which one is the default one, and I select that right here. So if this shop is selected and no other context is specified. Basically, it's a fall-through system. So we would look at whether or not a specific context has been explicitly set in the front end, and if it's not, then we would look at the context to see if the area has a shop, and if it has, then if there's a default on there. Or if a link specifically specifies a context. So it will basically look through the entire list, and if no context exists, so that's basically the same as not opting in. This is something I should have mentioned. Maybe this is something that you need to opt into. You need to create these contexts and set up a flow around them. Otherwise, we will default back to the default card, or the default context in this case, and everything will work as it has so far. Also on the product card, I can select which context I am checking out. So let's say I have multiple cards and I want one card for each of my contexts. So maybe I have a daily card and I have a weekly card, and maybe it should not be possible to check out the weekly card through the daily card flow. Maybe there's something different there. So I can specify which context we will look at when entering this shopping cart. It is also possible to limit payment options and delivery options on the specific card. And you do that also by opting into it. You have this new box right here called Payment and Delivery. By standard, it's set to show all. This is the default behavior that you've known so far, but we can also say show specific. So right now I don't have any payment or delivery options on my solution, but if I had, I could see all my available payments over here, and I could add them to the selected list right over here. So this is the list that will be shown, and this list will be hidden. And I could do the same for the delivery methods. So that gives me an option of saying that this specific card, maybe for this specific context even, should only show these payment options or these delivery options. So I can really start to work my flows into how I want them to be, and that gives me great control over my entire shopping flow. All right, so that was just a subset of the multiple shop additions that we've done for 8.4. Hopefully this is something that you will find useful, and if you have any additional features, then we're happy to take feature requests, and I would refer you to our forum or which one of your partner account managers that you usually talk to. We are very happy to take feature requests. All right, so in addition to the multiple shop, we've also added backlog capabilities. And the backlog capability basically is an option of saying, when I'm working with my solution in my backend, I want maybe some products to be hidden because of my workflow. You've probably seen the all products node right here. So right now it's showing me all the products for a specific language. Let me just switch back to this one. So now I have all the products that I have available for this language right here. But this list could probably, let's say I'm doing a lot of imports, so this list could probably be very long, and we would then have an option of limiting that list. First of all, I need to again opt into this. This is something that we've said you should allow this for your users, and if you don't, then the features will not be available. But under the Management Center e-commerce and advanced configurations, we have a new checkbox called show backlog fields on product. So if I check that and go back to my e-commerce, you will see on my product right here that I now have these 3 additional fields. It's called exclude from index, exclude from customized URLs, and exclude from all products. Now the exclude from all products is the one that I mentioned with the all products node right here. So if I check this and save the product, then it will not appear on my all products node. So if I work with all products a lot and I have a lot of products in my database, I can basically say, I don't want to see this. This is something that I have in reserve, or maybe it's something that is added automatically to an order, or maybe it's something that we send a link to someone and they can just go and see the product in the front end, but without them actually having to maybe search for it or find it. It's not something that we keep in our everyday inventory. It's just something that is there. So I can exclude that. If I say exclude from customized URLs, this basically tells our customized URL handler to say, this product, disregard that when you look for matches in product ID and product name and whatever you ever use for your customized URLs. So this basically means that do not waste time on creating a customized URL for this product. And the last one, exclude from index, is pretty self-explanatory. Basically, if you check this, the product will not be indexed by the product indexing routine. So that also gives you an option of maybe speeding up your index, because it's not something that you want to be part of your search. It's just something that is there in the background. But I've checked the exclude from all products, and let me just try and save and close this product. If I now click all products, you'll see that instead of the 50,000 that I used to have, now I have 49,999 products. But on this list I can say, okay, maybe I actually want to see all the excluded ones. So I can select that from here. Now I see my product. This is the one that I excluded before. I can also say, let me just see everything. And now I'm back up to 50,000. But if in everyday life, the idea is that this list should only include products that have not been excluded. And the same goes, of course, when I remove the exclusion, then the product appears on the list again. Let me just show you that real quick. So there we go. Now we're back up to 50,000 products. Okay, so the last thing that I want to touch upon with this webinar, it's going to be a short one, is the performance. Now I'm going to split this into two parts. The first part is what we've done to increase performance, and the other part is what you can do as implementers to increase performance. So the first thing that we did was last year around Tech Conference, we introduced the concept of optimized product retrieval. A lot of you have probably worked with it, or at least seen it in action. So what I have right here is the enable optimized product retrieval on my product catalog. This is something that is set by default, but I can turn it on or off on a product catalog by product catalog case. So this case, it's turned on, and that basically says instead of retrieving all the products from the groups that I've selected, only retrieve the ones that I'm actually going to show on the page. So this is related to SQL only. So if you're using your index to get your products, this is not affected. We have the other feature up here called paged queries for the advanced search or the index searching. But for SQL search or SQL product retrieval, it's this one. Basically says if I only show 10 products, then I only fetch 10 products from the database. This has proven to give huge performance benefits, as you might imagine. So instead of fetching 50,000 products from the database, I only fetch 10. As well as the optimized product retrieval being standard, we've done a lot of improvements on it. So we've changed the underlying structure of fetching the product, so it's faster than it used to be. And we continue to make improvements. So you've seen improvements from 8.2.3, which was the version that it was introduced in, over 8.3 to 8.31, and now 8.4, which is even faster than the previous ones. And in addition to that, we've also introduced caching. And this is the one right here, the enable display caching. And like I said, it's the same as for optimized product retrieval being specific to the product catalog. The same goes for the display cache. So this only applies for this specific product catalog. If I had another one, I could set this up differently. But the display cache basically says the page that I've seen, so in this case the first 10 products, store those in the cache for 1 minute. So when the next customer comes to see the same 10 products, we just fetch it from the cache. And we only store the products that have actually been displayed. So this means that if I navigate from the first page to the second page, so now it's the 11 to 20 products that I'm looking at, then those would be cached as well, but I'd have to retrieve them from the database first. This has a lot of benefits, actually. The first benefit, of course, is that we minimize the memory footprint of the application. So instead of storing 50,000 products in the memory, we only store the sections of products that have actually been displayed. And it also means that we can expire the cache a lot quicker. So in this case, like I said, I only set the caching to 1 minute, and that means that even if I update my products regularly during load, probably wouldn't do that in a real-life scenario, but it's not impossible to imagine a scenario where that happens. So if I say the display cache expires after 1 minute, so first off, we haven't cached as much data as we used to, so the subsequent queries would be lighter, and we only store them for in this case 1 minute. So that means that we can expire the cache a lot quicker, and even changes will appear quicker to the front end. But once the cache is implemented, even if just 1 minute, we see huge performance gains. So it's something that I would really recommend that you do. Always enable the display cache. But as you probably remember, that there is a global product catalog display cache as well that I have right here. So the hierarchy is that if a display cache is set on the specific product catalog, then that one is the winner. That one determines the displays, the caching settings. If I haven't set one, then it falls back to this one. In this case, I haven't set it, but if I did, this would be the global cache for the entire solution. So all the product catalogs, I have not set a specific caching settings, would fall back to this right here. So those are the improvements, or some of the improvements that we've made for the optimized product retrieval. Another thing we've done is, as also by huge request, is adding an option to not update your URLs, your customized URLs as often. And we've done a couple of things. The first thing we did was actually look at which parameters are relevant for a specific product in order to change its customized URL. And we came to realize that only two actually made a difference. So it's the name and it is the meta URL. If one of those two parameters change, then we need to update the customized URL. If any of the other parameters change, then we don't need to do that. But as it stood, we actually updated the URL. We invalidated the URL immediately, just as long as the product was saved. Which wasn't actually what we wanted. So we've changed that. So if you save a product, update a product, and you don't change the name or the meta URL, then we do not invalidate your URL cache. So that's the first thing we did. Another thing we did is gave you an option of offloading the customized URLs, or the building of the customized URLs, to application start. So this is the setting right here, rebuild URLs on application start only. If I set this, then during the application lifetime, we will never recalculate your URLs. So this means that the product names or product URLs that were set when the application started, they will persist through the entire lifetime of the application until it's recycled. This means that if you had a product that was named product 1, and the customized URL would be my domain /products/product1.aspx, then that would be the same URL for the same product, even if it changes its name to product 2 during the lifetime of the application. The link would still work. It will still get you to the correct product, but the link would have the incorrect name. But in some cases, that actually doesn't matter as much as not recalculating 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million customized URLs a lot on the application. So that's hopefully something that you can also use, at least the implicit changes during the product save, but also the rebuild on application start for those really large scale solutions. The last thing that we did, let me just go back to my PowerPoint. I have one graph. This is the only graph that I have for this entire presentation. This is the product performance numbers where we compare 8.2.1.11, which was this graph was a comparison between what was the latest version when we had the Tech Conference 2013 to the latest version when we had Tech Conference 2014. So basically what we see here is that we're showing 50 products out of a collection of 20,000 products. So it's a group with 20,000 products, and we show 50 of those. And then we turn up the load on the server until we hit around the 95% CPU load mark. And then we look at the load times. And for 8.2.1, we saw that the average load time was around 1.95 seconds. And if we were to deliver the 95 percentile, then that number would actually increase to 2.63. And with the 8.4 release, those numbers have gone down drastically. So for the average load time, it was 0.57 seconds, and the 95 percentile was only 0.84 seconds. So as you can see, huge difference in the changes that we've made to the e-commerce product catalog. All right, so now we come to the last part where I want to talk about some of the stuff that you can do in order to increase your performance or the way that your site behaves. And the first thing that I want to bring up, and I also brought this up at the last Tech Conference and the Tech Conference in 2013 as well. We're still seeing a lot of you not using the getImage ASHX handler. So we had the old getImage ASPX in order to have dynamic images in your front end, but that was slow and it was sluggish. So we created a new one, getImage ASHX, so it would be invoked a lot earlier in the request pipeline. And we're still seeing a lot of you not using that and still using the old ASPX. You would get a lot of performance on your sites if you were to switch to the getImage ASHX. That is difficult to say. And if there are some specific reasons why you cannot use the image handler getImage ASHX, then we would like to know about it so we can either tell you how to work around the issue, or if there is a specific problem with the one that we would like to know it so we can fix those problems. Another thing you can do is simplify your templates. We've seen a lot of templates with a lot of logic, so a lot of conditionals and a lot of comparisons, and that using the HTML template and the HTML template tags that are available there. But for complex templates, if you want to use the HTML, we recommend that you keep your template as simple as possible. Maybe a few loops, maybe a few conditions, but nothing too extensive. And if you want to use the more complex templates with a lot of logic built into them, we definitely recommend that you use Razor. Razor is basically the way forward. So it's the technology that we are going to bet on for the complex templates. We want to instill that value in you as well. So Razor, whenever you have something that just smells like it might be a bit complicated, you should consider using Razor. And the last thing is the related loops that we introduced with the Power Pack features of Dynamicweb 7.2. You should really consider when you use those, because some of those loops are very SQL heavy, and they need to do some calculations that might take some time, like other customers who bought this specific product also bought, or maybe customers who saw this product also saw another product. Those types of calculations are they are heavy, and they take some time. So if you don't actually need them, don't include the loops on your template. So those are the things that we would recommend, and just those few things would actually help you get a lot of performance increases. So that is basically what I wanted to talk about. And with that, let's go over to some questions. Let me just pull it out here. So I see we have a lot of questions. Now, yeah, that was the sound thing. The sound thing. Yep. Can we use order context as wish list and then send products from one order context to another? The wish list is actually something that we are introducing with 8.4.1 coming here at the end of April. We have a specific feature for wish lists that you can send and you can publish, and you can basically do what you would be able to do in the old days with the favorite list, except you can have as many lists as you want. So hopefully that answered that question. So does the let's see. Do the advanced searching product catalog features from index work without performing searches, just showing the list at startup? I am not sure what you mean by that. Maybe you could clarify, Nuno. Cache data is everything in the product, or does it take tags, fields in the template into consideration? No, it's the product object that we store. So basically, when we fetch the product and we load all the data onto that product, it's the whole object that we store. If you have specific template tags, those are not taken into consideration. So Razor versus HTML tags. Are there any test values even for simple template? No, I don't have any specific values, but I know that Mikkel is going to have a webinar about Razor. I don't know exactly when that will be, but it is on the schedule, so you can see it and you can sign up for it now on our Engage site. You could probably ask him about performance HTML versus Razor, because he's the one who's been he's the guy who's been working with that a lot. Being comfortable with Razor, should we do anything in Razor? Everything in Razor? Yeah. There's really no downside to using Razor. So if you start to incorporate a culture of using Razor, then that will be proficient for all aspects of Dynamicweb. So yeah, you should use Razor for everything. And items, Mikkel wanted me to add that as well. Any performance changes when accessing e-commerce section? With 50,000 plus orders, accessing e-commerce section is very slow and sometimes even times out. Yeah, there are some issues. I don't know if 50,000 orders is actually the cutoff point. We have solutions with more than 600,000 orders that access e-commerce just fine. So we haven't actually pinpointed the exact issue there. So no, there's no change to the order loading as of yet, but it's something that we are still looking into and investigating. And there will be some updates on that in the future, but I don't have anything for you now. Could related products, Power Pack, be changed so calculations are done at night to improve performance? Yes, they could, and we also have a subsystem in the works for that. You've probably seen the precursor for that called calculated fields. We want to use the same sort of technology to do these calculations, and that is something that is coming, but it's not something that we have ready yet. So for now, the recommendation is maybe not do this, use our own, but you have the option of creating your own lists if you want to, and you can incorporate caching into that. We've also done that for caching, but still there are issues with the products who saw the customers who saw this specific product also saw these products, which is dependent on the actual product in question. So what's it say? Maybe a good idea to start creating an index for loops so customers who bought this saw this blah blah blah. These are useful loops, and are there more performance alternatives? Well, yeah, like I just said, we are looking into ways of doing this in a more eloquent way. But for now, I have nothing new to share on that. So what if multiple conditions are met in the price matrix? Which price takes precedent? Yeah, so that's a good question, and I didn't cover that. It's the lowest price. So the lowest price that meets all the conditions will be the one that we pick. Page queries, does that work for page loads, or do the need for a query in a search and front end for the feature to take into consideration? Yeah, well, in order to actually search from the index or get products from the index as it stands right now, you need to have an active filter of some sort. So that could either be a free text search or a product field filter of some sort. So yeah, there needs to be something that activates it. But we are working on a new implementation of the index, and this is something that we'll be looking at. So when you activate index and you're using index to fetch your products, then that would be in all cases. But that's not something that I can share with you either, and it's not for 8.4.1. It's currently slated for 8.5. So when we get closer to 8.5, I'll probably have more to share with you on that. So when changing a customized URL or product name, let's say product-1 to product-11, can there be automatically generated a 301 redirect from the old to the new location? Well, in order to do that, then we would have to maintain. We'd still have to do some calculations on the customized URL index in order to link the old URL to the new URL and then do the 301. Currently, there is no such mechanism because what we basically wanted to do was add this feature for the product catalogs who don't change the product names or the product information that often. But it's something that we might consider for the future, but currently no, there is no 301 redirect for those types of situations. So we can mix the optimized product retrieval with page queries, so to speak. Well, yeah, well, the first time you enter your product catalog, when you see the products that you've selected from your group, if you don't specify any filter options there, then it would do a simple lookup like using the optimized product retrieval to fetch the products there. Once you start adding your filters into the mix, then the index takes over and fetches the products from there. So that's how it works right now. But like I said, we are working on ways to change that. So can we get a preview of all generated URLs? No, it's not something that we have publicly available. It's something that is stored in a collection internally inside Dynamicweb. It's not something that we list. It might be something that we would consider in the future if the request for this is high, but it would probably only be a list to display these links. It would not be an option of actually editing them. But I don't know if that was what you meant. Okay, we're getting towards the end of the questions list. So if you have any additional questions or any follow-up on some of the questions that was asked earlier, then okay. So there was one. How about a URL preview of the end part of the product, like pages? So on the actual product, so it would say this product would be displayed as /product-1. Is that what you mean? Yeah, we could probably do that. Yeah, I don't see any issue with that. I can add that as a feature request right now. All right. Are we in the matrix? Yes, hopefully you are. As long as you don't see any black cats, everything should be just fine. All right. If there are any other questions, then I'll just leave it open for a few more seconds. If you have any questions, just say yes, I have, and then I'll just wait for the question. Otherwise, I think this is the end. So we're coming to the end of the presentation. This video will be available on our Engage site, hopefully today or maybe tomorrow, but I'll try and get it up as fast as I can. So thank you everyone for watching, and join us for one of the coming webinars. That you can find those on our Engage site and sign up for those. Those will be really interesting. There are a lot of interesting webinars coming up, so I encourage you to join and watch those. But thank you for now.